What's up? What's up? Welcome to another edition of the Great American Podcast. This is your host, Rob Boyle. Oh wow, it's on screen already. There's the dashing and handsome Nick. I won't say his last name for
Anonymous.
yeah,
Anonymous.
he's anonymous. We should give you like a porn star name or something like that.
I haven't come out of the closet yet.
You haven't come out of the closet yet? As what, a nurse?
Complicated thing. yeah.
We can get into all that. I don't know if you want to check yourself out on the screen, but no, you couldn't. Go back. Just so he knows what he looks like. Oh, you can see yourself?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure,
Good enough.
Justin, you look good, dude. You're a
Live
good looking
on
dude.
camera.
You're handsome. I don't like the fact that you're more handsome than me right now. But yeah, you should have seen me in my prime. It was something else.
Hofstra 2008.
Oh my God! I did work. Yeah, I swear to God, from like 18 to like 23.
How many STDs did you get? Be honest.
I mean, I didn't get that tested all the time, but
Yeah, you know what they say, right?
I
if you don't get tested, you don't have any.
if you don't get tested, right there you go.
So-
That makes
so
sense.
what
That
is
makes,
even
you're a nurse.
the-
You
yeah,
should.
that's what I'm saying.
You should know. Is that what you tell
that's the-
people? Is that like with the coronavirus?
That's
If
the
you don't
advice.
get
That's the
tested.
advice. When people send me pictures of their genitals, I'm like, look, if you don't get it
Oh,
checked,
sorry. Can you just repeat that? What are you on, Grinder?
if you don't get it checked out, there's no problem.
Right. No, but in all seriousness, you ever had a legit scare
This-
though? You
this
ever
is
like
not. This is not
what?
medical advice. This
Oh
is just
no, of
mine.
course not. Just put that disclaimer at the bottom there
Yeah,
if you can.
of course.
But anyway, yeah. If you're listening, please subscribe to this channel. But so yeah, what you want to introduce yourself? You want to?
Yeah.
you
So
know.
no, as you
This is a safe space.
I feel
worry.
very safe and comforted here. I
Thank-
like the baby blue walls. I feel at home.
Baby blue. Oh, okay, all
I
right.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No, as you mentioned, I'm a nurse, right? So been dealing with COVID a lot. Slowing down a little bit, but starting to pick back up. Here in New York.
So do you have to like call it COVID?
I go COVID.
It just kind of have.
I go COVID. I go COVID.
When
You know
they
what
go
it is?
COVID, we go.
You know what it is? Like I understand the whole. First, I feel like the media wanted it to be coronavirus. I mean, that's what it is. It's a coronavirus, right? So it's a mutated form of coronavirus. You know?
Right.
All the conspiracy theorists, they take pictures of the Lysol bottle. They're like, oh, this virus has been around because look, it says, kills the coronavirus on the thing. But coronavirus has been around for a long time. This
Right,
is
there's
just
different forms of it.
Exactly.
of
This
course.
is, the SARS,
right.
CoV-2, whatever
Was
the
it
hell.
MERS or the Middle Eastern, whatever the hell? Someone that doesn't know.
Middle Eastern.
Was that Middle Eastern coronavirus? I'm just saying, no, seriously. No, that's why it's called MERS, Middle Eastern. And remember, that's
No,
why they
you're
called
right.
it
You are right.
China's
Yeah.
Chinese coronavirus.
Yeah.
They label it for the place of origin. And then all of a sudden, the political correct crap just came into play, and they're like,
China,
"Oh,
you can't say China.
you don't want to say
virus.
China, but
you can't.
But then you
say
couldn't
that.
even be coronavirus. Then it became COVID-19.
Oh, see, I didn't know that part of
Yeah,
the
it
thing.
mutated.
I thought they just turned to COVID because that was more of a scientific term, and COVID-19.
No, because it was still from my understanding, it was number one. Two reasons. It was attached still. People were saying China coronavirus, so they wanted to eliminate that, or Wuhan virus or anything like that.
I don't know.
I
I
love
didn't
Kung
hear that
flu
one.
is the best.
Yo, when
Kung flu is the best.
I had to listen to this.
And
I
then
guess
the
I gotta
fact
talk
that our
about this.
president has said it.
I gotta talk
Oh,
about
he's
this.
such a G.
I gotta talk about this.
What?
I had a moment today. I was like, listen, I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I don't mean to,
You say whatever
throw
you
my
want, please.
political affiliation out on the table.
No.
But I am definitely, and you can't even for a minute admit as a human being in this country that you are not going to miss this guy, Trump. The pure entertainment that he brought to the table on a day-to-day basis. I'm sitting there and I'm on Twitter today and I'm thinking to myself, whose tweets, like he's blocked out of Twitter because of last night.
Right.
Rightfully so, whatever, we'll get into it. But like, come on, this guy was a pure, like, all-star. Like, he went up there, he was doing straight stand-up comedy. Like, he was basically, getting the crowds together, getting everybody fired up. Like, he knew what he was doing. I mean, he's arguably, I think, the greatest con man ever in the history of the
Do you mean that
United
in a
States.
nice way or like?
I think he.
The only way you can mean con man.
I think he does a good job of like making it like he's just like the average Joe, like down the middle, like. But yet,
I think he is though in that sense. Like again,
I think he conned his way into the presidency though too. I'm not saying I think like I said, I'm for him in some instances. I'm against him in some instances. I don't root for anybody to do bad. Same thing with Biden. I mean, I hope this guy. I hope he does well in office. I hope he. It scares me. This is what scares me. It scares me that there's there's three branches of government that are controlled by one. By
that's
one political.
horrific. Well, again, some of the things you're saying, like I hope our presidents all do well, of course, but there's an interpretation to that, like what that can mean, to some people. So unfortunately, liberals and their president doing well means letting all the illegal immigrants in means just, craziness. I mean, I was, we could pull up article after article right now. You ever go on the College Fix? You ever heard of that website?
No.
Oh my God, I sent you like links and clips and shit. We can go through anything, but I mean, it's just I don't know if you actually can you pull it up. I had emailed it to you, but the most recent one is now Biden is going to mandate.
He's scary.
I'm telling you.
Gets scary a little bit.
Scary a little bit.
This is what
it's not just his age. No, but I was just gonna say, like,
go ahead, sorry.
He's no. He was, one of the newest things he said he's going to mandate is basically how they have all that sensitivity training and diversity, all that crap. He's going to federally mandate that now.
Isn't that something that Trump undid?
He's tried to, at least in the military, but that's that's as far as it extended. But I don't know how much. Again, like it was just an executive order,
Right.
So now with the fact that they control all three branches of government, and the fact that it's made it into our military already is scary as hell. I would think the military would be the last place to, concede to that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. This is what I hope too, and this was kind of intertwined into my revelation today when I was thinking about I'm going to miss Trump, I'm going to miss his entertainment, and we could talk about policy that's a little bit boring, but as far as the 4 years, one can argue. I think one can make it either point, and this is crazy too. Depending on who the hell you listen to, what channel you watch, you could say this was a great president, you could say this was the worst president of mankind. I think he tried to do a lot of good for the country. That's my stand, but I think intertwined in my my vision today, I was hoping and I'm hopeful. I'm gonna be hopeful. Positivity, right?
Right.
That Biden doesn't put into practice and put into law the things that he's running on. Basically, Democrats are known for that though too. I mean, it's all politicians are, right? You say things, you get elected, you want to get those votes, whatever. So you say, abolish this, abolish that, and they don't really do anything about it. So I'm hoping. I hear because you hear talk of like Puerto Rico becoming a state, Washington D.C. becoming a state, so that way they get senators. So that way you go even further left, and those territories are probably predominantly going to be Democrat, and they know that. And you talk about packing the court now. I mean, there's a whole thing you get into where it gets sticky. It gets really sticky.
That's beyond sticky. I mean, they're straight up abusing their power.
And I don't like either way. I'm saying like I think in all honesty. It's not good. It's not good to be too far right, too far left. You got to be a little bit.
No, and that's always been.
And there's none of that.
And I'm really that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've always known you to be that way.
Yeah, and I try to be.
You like it right up the middle.
I try. I like it right up the middle. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. I'll take it any way I can get it. No, I mean, yeah. Again, I'm a registered Republican. I shifted when I was younger from like 18 when you're stupid and know nothing and you live in New York and you're like, I guess I'm a Democrat.
Well,
I don't know anything of politics.
You were experimenting when you were younger.
Well, I didn't know anything yet. No, I didn't know. You just you lived in New York. You're 18. You're not really following politics.
Well, bro, that's like the fucking that's like which is real fucked up. They got him good. Like when Trump did the Oklahoma rally in fucking Oklahoma.
Yeah, and what was it? TikTok or whatever the hell. Yeah,
they bought up all the tickets. So Trump's like, I'm gonna have like 18 million people tweeted out, and
they just bought them out, so then nobody would be there.
10,000 people showed up.
That's the kind of sick shit that they would do.
But what I'm trying to say too, I think a lot of younger people hated him for I'm talking young, like teenager, which I actually found surprising. I didn't really think that would correlate, but it does. I mean,
well, unfortunately, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Younger people tend to lean more left because they associate that with compassion, right? I mean, the left is the compassionate.
Sure.
They're the party of the disenfranchised. And, Jordan Peterson always, who Jordan Peterson is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he always makes that argument.
I live under a fucking rock?
Huh?
You think I live under a rock?
There's a lot of people who don't know who he is.
There's something that happened with him
I
and
just
his
got
daughter.
both of his books.
Did you ever hear about that?
What do you mean?
Something with him and his daughter. I don't know.
So, like
she does the carnivore diet.
Oh,
Rape.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh yeah, no, that's been old news. She had like serious autoimmune disease. She's hot, by the way. You've seen her?
Nah.
She's a good looking girl. But Yeah, no, she's like on an all meat diet, and he started that too. He's on it too.
I think that just comes down to
I don't know the science
elimination.
behind that.
I think it comes down to elimination. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you eliminate enough, if you eliminate everything except for meat, you're in that vast pile of things you've eliminated. I'm sure there was at least one. There was maybe that one thing that was really bothering your immune system or whatever.
Right. No,
that
that's
you got rid of.
possible. I mean, she apparently was like really sick, like had surgeries, had like bone crippling diseases.
Well,
and
you
shit.
know her. You act like you
No,
know
no.
her.
I watched Jordan Peterson. He talks about it. I wish I knew her. Again,
What was
she's
your
hot.
original? What was your point on Jordan Peterson?
I don't
My
even
bad,
remember
my
now,
bad.
honestly.
Yeah, see, it's
No,
all
no,
it takes
I was just
to
gonna say,
distract Rob
he's a
is
perfect-
to bring up a girl, and he's fucking off. He started talking about this, that.
Yeah,
One time at the Hofstra bar,
Oh,
I
it's a
saw
cheap
this girl
shot.
that looked like this
That's a
girl.
cheap shot. You know, I used to have a nickname over there. I used to be called the King of Dizzy Lizards.
What the fuck? Yo, that's a nickname
Dead
nobody
serious.
ever wants.
Nah.
What does that even mean, yo? What?
I'm just telling you, yo. Like I would
thoroughly
I'd show up there and
and be the king.
I would be the king. I was just. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
Derrick Henry
I
style.
was just. It was not a problem, bro. That ass, like walk in the door. Girls would just take pictures with me. They just start kissing me and shit. That's why I told you I probably had STDs. I swear to God. I can remember one time being seriously scared. I was looking like I don't know, I was taking a piss or something, and I started looking at my junk. And I'm like, "What is that?
What is that?
Is that supposed to be there?"
Oh my god. No, I mean.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But I wasn't. Anyway,
Get back to your story.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Well,
no, you go on. You go
what
on.
I was gonna say was whatever. I was talking about Biden, and I just hope he doesn't put into practice. But and regardless, I think if anything, what this whole thing has showed me is you really can't get too fucking wrapped up into one thing. Like if I'm obsessed with Trump, this shit happens. Like what was my life end? Like I still gotta go to fucking work. Like you know what I mean? I still gotta work. I still gotta make money.
Right. Again, I
Pay
mean,
whatever.
We had Obama. We had Bush.
what it
For the
is.
most part, again, right, and that is the problem we have today. Is people are not willing to. They just take politics too personally. And I can go off on a rant or whatever. I'll have a social media moment where I'm just like yesterday. After the, how they magically won both seats in Georgia. Like, do
Yeah,
I
but
on?
you know what? In all
do I-
honesty,
what?
I personally feel like I mean, I think that was Mitch McConnell. I think he's kind of set that up. He set up the loss, if you ask me. Come on. You tell people they can't have $2,000, and you want to only give them. Listen, the average person. The
even
average person.
Trump said that he wanted everyone to have $2,000.
No,
so
that's what
Mitch
I'm saying.
McConnell's, he's not powerful enough to. Nobody's thinking about Mitch
Well,
McConnell.
he shot it down. He shot it down in the Senate, though. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say? Like he's the one that shut down.
I
the
understand what
vote.
he's saying, but again, in a state like Georgia, there was a lot of other things that just went on, like the Democrats calling, like Andrew Wang. Remember the guy who ran for Democratic president?
Yang.
Obviously, the only Yang, Wang,
Yang.
whatever. It's
Yeah,
all the
come
same.
on.
Chinese coronavirus, and Kung Flu, and he straight up called out for people to move down there. Like he said, he was going to move down there temporarily just to influence the voting.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
yeah, and then so there were all people, these liberal groups, all trying to get residency down there just so they could vote in that election. And again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I don't believe there was any kind of widespread fraud or anything like that. But they certainly cheat, or it's certainly rigged. Like that word describes it, because if they're gonna do stuff like that, if they're gonna, how do they magically pull it out? Both seats at the last second with a nobody guy, Osserman or whatever, and Warlock or whatever,
Also, first of all, I saw this picture for the first time on like Fox News when they called it.
Right.
I was like, he looks like he's in the 7th grade.
Right.
Like,
And
who
this
the fuck is
dude's
this
getting
dude?
backed by Chinese money, and also,
I didn't even research into that too much, because at this point it was past the November 3rd election, and I had to take a chill pill.
No,
I
I've
was
sort
like,
of
this
checked
is
out
too
in a lot of
much.
ways. Like even with all the Capitol stuff yesterday, like I fell asleep. Like I'm like, I was only really hearing about it the next day.
Yeah.
Can you put? I want to pull up the picture though
Which
of
guy?
like the guy in
The-
like the
the,
horns and the
Oh,
shiki or whatever. Can you pull that up? I just love that picture. I just want to talk about that picture for a second. I mean, look, on the one hand, like as you're talking about, I don't believe in it. That's what's made America great for so long is we're not an extremist country. Like we
Sure.
don't ever lean too heavily to one side or another.
That's actually a really solid point.
Right.
To be
And
honest, that's because I think in
that's
the
what's-
last 4 years you've
Right.
seen
You absolutely
well,
have.
as
And
the
it's-
right goes more right, the left goes more left.
Well, yes and no. I don't think the right is going more right, quite frankly. I think the right is more moderate, as we're talking about, and the left has just gone off a freaking cliff. But again, I've talked about this on other shows, that politics is cyclical, man. You can't keep going further and further and further and further. At some point, you don't fall off a cliff. It's not, the world's not flat. Yeah. So I'm saying, so you're going to come back around. They're going to end up being the modern day Nazis. They don't realize this, but they, as they implement their racist ideologies and their anti-free speech and their ideological visions. Yeah, hear this guy. You see this guy? This I don't know what you would call him. This warrior. this guy's beautiful. That's just fantastic.
It's such a joke.
A joke, but at the same time, this guy's in the Capitol in face paint with horns. If he was a native Indian, they'd all be praising him. They'd all be like, "Oh, this is fantastic! Yeah. You're taking back the land that was stolen from you."
Elizabeth Warren would have took him in.
Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, he's probably like 1/18th.
Dude, but
native something. But
I just like that whole thing and the Capitol. Like I think that official. I mean, I agree with you. You made a good point. I think. When you talk about widespread election, like voter fraud, I'm not sure that there was enough fraud. In all honesty, my gut feeling and also like looking at, if you really read into the evidence that he was presenting and whatnot, I mean, they were claiming, and this is what blows me away too, and not that I'm disappointed with the Republicans, but it's kind of disgusting. Like Giuliani and Trump, whatever, like, they say they had all this fraud evidence and this Dominion voting system, flipping ballots or whatever, which that very well, it did happen. I mean, in Michigan, it was proven to happen, and they had to flip it back. But they're saying, oh, we're going to have our day in Congress. We're going to present the facts. And then nothing happened.
Right, because I don't think they really did have it, or at least certainly have enough.
So you were basically stringing people along. Like,
it could be. It's possible. It's one of these things we find out, a year from now. Or whatever. Obviously, I highly doubt it now that they control all three houses of Congress. Of power. So
I personally, if we're
what scares me the most is that they're going to ignite the Civil War, because what they're going to do is they already talked about it, all these blacklists. It was I think Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg just blacklisted Trump.
Yeah.
So now they don't.
Because he's inciting violence, is what they're saying.
No. Well, they're not going to allow him on Twitter or any of these things now. Because once he's not president,
he can get.
They're just going to get rid of him.
He can get Twitter back because he deleted some of the Capitol tweets. That was
after he's out of office, they're just gonna try to destroy him and wipe him off the face of the earth.
They're gonna like Alex Jones's ass.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You saw the article.
I'm kind of in the camp, and I'm definitely way more conservative on this standpoint. Like, I don't think I believe in like a small government, right? I don't think anybody should. These tech corporations, they do have a lot of power, but I don't think anybody has the right to just kick people off platforms forever. That's a little bit too much.
Well,
for what?
That's a real legal question, though.
But
right?
to protect, I understand they're private corporations,
right?
But are they?
Some Facebook isn't anymore. They went public.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, what do you?
Well, that's why there's so many issues around it.
I would
there's
say
so many
the
free
same
speech issues.
I would say the same thing for somebody who's very far left. Like, I don't think anybody should be deplatformed.
No, and that's what conservatives
it's a very
believe. That's
slope.
what more, conservative. I've been saying that all the time. And again, it's their algorithms. Their algorithms are tainted towards censorship of conservatives or people that don't share whatever their vision is, which I don't know what their vision is, and that's the scariest part. I don't really know. They don't know what their own vision is. They don't have an idea. They just keep getting crazier and crazier. Again, you should just go on can you just pull up the College Fix? I don't know if you can pull up on like Facebook or just look at the stories. College Fix is like the greatest website ever. Seriously, I don't know like how they do all their reporting and where they get these stories from, but if you literally just pull them up, just article after article is. Yeah, well, no, that's a good article, but that's it. But let's see, which trending? Can you go on their Facebook page? Because they just have like the list of just the links to the articles. It's the craziest stuff ever. This is
not like a parody. This is like
no, this is straight up reporting, and I'm